That's what I say.
I think we're going to maybe get something, but I want to give them every last chance before decapitation. I'll give people a chance. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country, I'd rather not do it. Now, we've already, through lots of large attacks, but they were normal large. Hopefully they'll come to their senses.
So now President Trump saying they've shown no mercy as he warns Iran this is their last chance before resuming a bigger and stronger strike. However, Tehran denies there are direct negotiations with the U.S. at this time. Rich Goldberg, senior advisor to the Foundation of Defense of Democracies. And Rich, welcome back to our program. Good day to you. Why don't we cut through?
Good day, Bill.
Yeah, very quickly here. Is there communication? I am told there is a line to Tehran leadership. Is that the case, yes or no?
I'm sure there is, even if it's not direct at the moment. It's certainly through the Omanis, through the Qataris and others who are absolutely passing communications back and forth. And by the way, it doesn't surprise me that they want a deal. Of course they want a deal. If you look at the situation today, the president should be very confident in his position. The blockade is working. According to senior administration officials, they're watching the financial picture very closely inside of Iran. It's falling apart. They describe it as a house of cards at the moment, everything being leveraged on top of itself to try to save banks from collapsing, save industry from collapsing. In the meantime, inflation's nearing 100%, even more for food. The rial has collapsed, their currency. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, we are actually getting oil out of the strait. I know you see the reports about ships being hit, and yes, that is happening. But at the same time, we're managing to get at least 5 million barrels per day out per night using various techniques under this Project Freedom that Central Command has put in place. So you look at both sides of the ledger here. They're falling apart economically, and we are getting some relief. You look at oil prices, you just mentioned it, the stock market going up today. They, of course, want to get some sort of relief. The question is, what are we willing to do in sort of a deal again? Are we going to go right back to the same sort of failed strategy of the MOU? Or are we going to say, you don't get a dime, you don't get any relief until we get all the concessions?
Does a big strike force Iran to capitulate?
If you're able to actually penetrate the command bunkers and get to people like Ahmed Vahidi, if you're actually able to penetrate the missile cities and destroy their remaining missile capabilities, it very well could. We have not been able to prove that ability to date. It's one of the reasons why I think we wrapped up Epic Fury when we did and went to the blockade originally. So at that point, your strategy in front of you is a strangulation strategy, which is working. You have obviously factions inside the regime here. Part of them sees the economy falling apart. Part of them wants to go down with the ship. The question is if the people who want to go down on the ship finally realize the ship is sinking and they need a way to stay afloat, to stay in charge here, because hopefully we're also doing something covertly with the Iranian people, which should also be freaking out the regime, but actually part of our success strategy. At that point, they're going to want to say, hey, please lift the blockade. We'll let more oil out. We shouldn't fall for it again. This can't be like Charlie Brown in the football with Lucy here. You show us the nuclear dust. You let the ships out. Then we give you some sort of relief here.
Okay, General Keane was on yesterday. He's forcefully argued that the Gulf nations are speaking with two tongues, and they're holding the U.S. back time and again. Meanwhile, here's the headline from your group, all right? China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea form axis of aggressors that could overwhelm the United States, advance at one time. Reuters is saying 300 to 400 shoulder-fired missile launchers could be shipped from China to Iran, upwards of $70 million in value. I don't think the value is the important thing. I think the fact that if you have these shoulder-fired missiles, they could do great damage to American airplanes. Question for you on this. What does Russia and China do right now in terms of helping Iran, specifically with the targeting of Gulf states, U.S. bases, et cetera, in that region, that will help them and have helped them with their targeting to make it effective? Who's doing it more? Is it Russia or is it China or both?
I would assume both are providing assistance to Iran at this point in whatever way they can, both overland routes, which is why we should be putting more pressure on all neighbors to shut down their borders or face sanctions or tariff threats. And at the same time, the Caspian Sea, we saw the Ukrainians take a shot at a vessel that was coming in there or leaving Iran there. So obviously, both countries have an interest in trying to pin us down, trying to make this harder for us to complete. We should obviously be pretty tough with both capitals in response. More support for the Ukrainians on the battlefield against Russia. Obviously, we have economic leverage against the Chinese. In the end, when we talk about the Gulf stage, you talk about Saudi Arabia and General Keene's comments, remember, we also are relying on Saudi Arabia with their overland pipelines to keep us in the game here. The fact that they're at maximum capacity moving through the Red Sea also allows us to continue the strangulation strategy.
Okay, Rich, thank you. We'll see what gives in the next 12 or 24 hours. We await. Rich Goldberg, thank you for your time, sir. Nice to have you on.
Thanks, Bill.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.